What's up, Golf Busters? On today's episode, we're going to be answering the question everyone has been asking me: how much does my golf simulator cost? So here's how I'm going to do this for you guys. First off, I'm going to give you a tour of the whole place, of course, but then we're going to break down the cost into a couple of categories. The first one is, what is the cost of just the simulator itself? So let's say you had a place with enough space, you had the space, all you want to know is, I just want this exact simulator in, what's it going to cost? After I show you the cost of just the simulator, I'm going to break down all the extra stuff we got. So these are things that you don't necessarily need for your golf simulator, but you may want in your space. So for instance, we have a bar. You may not want a bar in your golf simulator. We have a TV on the side. You don't need a TV on the side. You could do it with just a projector, but maybe you want that. And then finally, we're going to show you the cost of the entire project. The entire garage, the golf simulator, the living space we added on, all that stuff. And one last thing I want to add, this week's video, I'm just going to give you guys kind of the cost breakdown. Next week, I'll give you a step-by-step process on how you can build an entire golf simulator yourself. So the first thing you're going to see is the turf. The turf is a blue turf. You're probably wondering, why did I make it blue? Since I got to build the golf simulator, my wife got to pick out the turf color. And this is just a blue turf with kind of a thin layer of plastic underneath. Now, this was 99 cents a square foot, so we didn't necessarily go into it planning on getting the cheapest turf, but it just ended up being, that was the color my wife liked, it felt the softest, and so we went with it. And that turf total cost us 520 bucks, and I'll put the link for the turf down below in the description, just like I will for everything else in here. Now, one of the biggest questions I get, can you putt on this turf, right? You didn't go with necessarily a putting turf, can you putt on it? The answer is yes, and you're actually gonna see, I'm gonna take out some putting holes for you guys. They are very well hidden in here. Even sometimes I have a hard time finding them, so I just pull those out, and boom, we got a 1-inch putting cup, and I will link that down below, the exact one I used. So we have two of those, so one to the right, one to the left. So I just pull those out, and you'll notice, first off, like how well you can hide those when you put these back in. So all this is the foam I used underneath, and then I just carpet tape the turf on top. I wouldn't describe the putting speed as a fall damp day in Michigan, so they're kind of slow, but you can get better at putting. Now, is the speed going to be what you're used to? No, but you can get better. And again, if you wanted to get a putting turf, you can totally do that. The cost per square foot, I think for that, it'll be a little more expensive. It might be like $3 a square foot instead of $1 a square foot, but it's up to you what turf you want to go with. Now, moving on to the next piece, what hitting strip did we get? And you can kind of see it right there. This was something we made by ourselves, and this was around, I want to say 60 bucks. So all it is a layer of polycarbonate. You have a soft layer of foam here, and then you just kind of reuse the foam that's under the turf right here. It has a lot of give to it because of that soft foam, and that allows you to kind of replicate a divot. Now, the best part about this is you just order like an extra foot or 2 feet on the edges of the turf strip that you order, and then what you can do is cut that, and all I do when this turf strip gets all used up, I just rip this off, and I just glue a new one back down and cut it up. And it takes me probably 15 minutes, and these last somewhere between 2 to 3 months. So we got the turf, we got the hitting strip. The next thing is, you know, what's underneath the turf. So these are just 1 inch thick, and they're like those kind of puzzle piece foam tiles on Amazon. And I think that was around $400 as well. So overall, just for kind of the turf flooring, you're looking at about $1,000. Now, our first extra you're gonna see is to the right here. This is just a little kind of bench that lifts up, and we kind of keep our son's toys in it. And it's a good place for people just to kind of, you know, sit down when they're watching some golf, chill, and just add some extra seating. I think about $200 was the cost of this when we got it from, my wife got it. I don't know, I forget where we got it. Now, continuing with the golf simulator, the big question I get is all these kind of vinyl foam tiles here. People love these. I think these tiles take your simulator from like, oh, this looks nice, to wow, this looks professional. And I think these tiles are the reason people were guessing ridiculously high numbers for the cost of this project because of these tiles. So these wall panels were all handmade by me this summer, and that will be the huge money saver on this project. So I'll link down below all the materials that went into building these and the tools that went into building these. The entire thing to build and put on were about $1,400, which is gonna seem like a lot of money, but trust me, if you were to buy these pre-made, I think the cost, I did some quick math of just these wall panels if you bought them pre-made, would be like probably $5,000, $6,000, and that doesn't even count like kind of the custom pieces that I made, right? Like you're only really able to buy like 2x2s or like preset kind of ones. So can save a ton of money there, and that is, like I said, the thing I think that takes this room from, oh, that looks good to, wow, this looks incredible. So the next thing we'll get into is this impact screen, and this is gonna look bright, and that's just kind of my camera settings. So its projector looks great. I'll turn it down for you, make it a little darker. This is kind of the color that I see. It looks a little worse on the camera. It looks better in person, but we love this thing. And so what this is called a raw impact screen, and this is meant for taking golf balls. So I'm just gonna work my way over to the door on the left here, which leads to the garage stall for my wife. So this is just like a regular garage stall, a little bit messy. But if I go over here, you can kind of see it. It's like a 3-ply fabric. So it feels like there's like fabric on the left, fabric on the right, and then like a foam in the middle. And this has lasted so well. Like we've been hitting on this 18 to 36 holes a day. We play on this all the time, and there hasn't been one sign of like wear on this thing. So the cost of this impact screen is one of those things I saved a ton of money on. And now, like I said, we built this simulator really cheap, way cheaper than people could think. And part of that is because we spent a ton of time trying to look for the best deals, the best prices. So this impact screen is the one I'm most proud of because we got it super cheap and we got it through a crazy story. So what ended up happening, we got this impact screen for $390, and I'll link what this would be at like Carl's place, but a 15x10 size impact screen, which is what this is, I would think is somewhere between $1,200 and $2,000, and we got this for $390. And so long story short, what ended up happening on one of the golf Reddit forums, someone was asking, where do you get your impact screens at? And they're like, oh yeah, you gotta go to these guys like Daniel and Tom, bro. They'll hook you up. And they just like put their email in there. And everyone's like, oh yeah, these guys are the best. These guys are the best. And so I end up emailing these random guys. I'm like, hey, I want this impact screen. And they're like, all right, it's gonna be $390 plus shipping. And I'm like, is this legit? Like, there's no way, like this is like a $2,000 thing, not counting shipping or whatever the cost is. And so I PayPal them. I don't know if it's gonna show up. It shows up and it's been great. So I lucked out with that. And if you really wanna find those exact guys, I suggest you dig through Golf Simulator Reddit and they'll probably be able to hook you up, but I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to give their information out, so you can look for that yourself. So next we're gonna look at how the enclosure was built. So I'll take you through the backside here. Just to show you quick kind of how I hooked that up. So this is like a combination of eye hooks, bungee clips, tarp clips, and then those just kind of stick on all throughout the back. And people are like, well, how much do you trust this thing? We park a car in here, guys. Like the door will open and touch this. As long as you got about a foot of space. My wife left this morning, opened the door, it's touching the screen. We are confident enough in this that we have a car parked right here and have no worries. So I'll link the price of all those bungee clips in the description, but that's how we hold it up. And then on the bottom of this, what we did is we just have an extra foot of impact screen on the bottom, and we just kind of looped that back up and Velcroed it down with some construction adhesive. And this works great as a ball catch. It has enough give to where the bounce back's not gonna be bad, but it's a good enough bounce back to where you're not gonna have balls caught in there all the time, but it's also not so fast where you're like afraid of balls coming back. And so just for tour purposes, people are probably wondering what the size of this is. The width of this is like 13 feet, 8 inches, and then the height is just under 8 feet. So this bumper on the bottom, that's a foot, and then the screen's 13 feet 8 inches, and then just under 8 feet, maybe 7 feet 10 inches tall. So the very top of this is at 9 feet, and then, like I said, the width is about 14 feet. And my wife came back, so I'll just show you how she parks the car. Boom, right in there, you can literally see the gap where balls could come, and we've had no worries with it at all. Super safe, right, babe? Yeah. So what we use for balls and tees, the balls are just like any kind of generic ball that you want. I just found some used Pro V1s, and you'll notice, oh, he's got them on there. Let me see them. It's got like this little metallic sticker, and that's gonna be for the simulator device. It just helps it read better. Now you can get Titleist balls that don't have the silver dots on them, and they help read just as well, and all the like spin readings or whatever these things do is built into the ball, but they're more expensive. So we just opted for now to go with regular balls and then the silver dots on them. And then if you notice, he also has these tees. I think these are like 20 bucks for a pack of 8 sizes. These are called bird tees. They're kind of like the bottom of a badminton thing, and the ball just sits on there, and those have worked great. We've hit probably for 3 months straight, and they show no damage. So love those things. Those are awesome. Now, next thing, if you have the space, you're still gonna have to kind of build out an enclosure to hold the screen and everything. So what that is, that's just, I'll come back here and show you. That is just like a studded wall with OSB on the top. So next up, I'll show you the thing you've all been waiting for. What simulator device / launch monitor do I use? And so I use the Mevo Plus. So this thing is amazing. It is $1,800, and I think for the price, I think this thing is 100% a 10 out of 10. Now, if I had unlimited money, are there other things I would buy? Yes, but for the price, you can't beat it. And I'm comfortable enough with this thing where if I was to start my own golf simulator business, I would feel 100% comfortable using the Mevo Plus. Hey everyone, so a quick side note before I get on with the video. As you all know, before I was making YouTube videos, I had owned the FlightScope Mevo Plus for over a year and absolutely loved it. And after I had made enough videos, FlightScope decided to make me an official ambassador for the product. So what that means for you is you can always get the lowest possible price on the FlightScope Mevo Plus with the Pro package, and the original Mevo if you use my links. And so all you have to do is use the links in our bio or description below. And then once you get there, if you're getting the Mevo Plus or the Pro package, use code GolfBusters10. And if you're getting the original Mevo, use GolfBusters15. And that will always get you the lowest possible price. Now, if they already have a sale going on, the code may not take money off, but it will still guarantee you're getting the lowest possible price. And it helps support us a lot, which would mean a ton to us as we try to do this full time. So anyways, back to the video. Couple of extras also included here with the device. So like the stand for it, don't necessarily need the stand. That was like 40 bucks. Found a guy on, I think, Facebook that makes them. This table, don't necessarily need that. I think that was 100. And then this is like polycarbonate that goes in front. Depending on your setup, you might not need this. The only reason I have this is if you hit straight into that bumper, sometimes these will roll back. And what would happen is it would hit that red stand and then throw the device off, so you'd have to like reset it up. And then off the back of the device, here's a battery pack that goes with it. I'll link this. I love this thing. Allows it to run for a full day, no issues, and also displays the charge you have. Say hi, bud.
Hello.
Hi, buddy, boo. Hi, buddy. So he has a great time in here. Wife loves the extra space. He'll come and play in here. Great for him. Now, I think the only thing I have left to show for the simulator itself is the projector. So we got the projector up here. It's an Optima 8G39 HDR, and I love this thing. The quality is great. You can watch movies. A lot of people ask that question like, hey, is this just for golf? Could you watch movies? We watch movies in here all the time, and it serves just as well as a movie theater as it does the golf simulator. So even if you got sick of golf, you still got a movie theater room, and it looks great. And then I think that was $1,300 for the projector, and the projector mount was about $100. And then the last thing you're gonna need is the program to run the simulator. And so I use GSPro. It's $250 a year, and it is awesome.
Oh. Get in the ring! Oh, no!
And so that concludes just the simulator items. The last thing I didn't put in there was a PC because I already had that. But if you're gonna also add that in for yourself, that'll be about $1,000. Reason I didn't add it in is there's a chance that you're gonna have some of the things I've shown here. So when I get done with my overall cost, there are gonna be things in here that you're like, oh, I already have that. That wouldn't cost me anything. So that is the cost of everything for just the simulator, and that came out to a grand total of $6,700. I am super happy with that. People were guessing a ridiculous amount in the comments of some of my TikToks. So to be able to tell you guys as a public school teacher that you could do this for that price, it's awesome. And another thing I want to say is I had no construction experience before this. My wife, can you vouch for that?
Mm-hmm. Not handy.
I'm not handy. I just grinded and used YouTube, and her father knows what he's doing, so he helped me out a little bit. And so I was able to do this with no prior kind of construction knowledge. So that's everything you would need to build the simulator. Next up, I'm gonna get into just a little more of the tour of the garage and some of the extras that we have in the garage that help make the experience in here a little bit better and a little more fun. So first thing I wanna show you, one of my favorite things is this garage door that is here. This works as a whiteboard. So we put long drives closest to the pins. And one of my favorite things we do in here is the hole-in-one pot. So what happens is every time someone comes here, they put in $1. And then if they get a hole-in-one, they would win the entire pot. And it also kind of acts as a way to see how many people have been here. So we're at 70, so I know at least 70 people have been to this garage since we started having people in here like 2 months ago. Next up, this vacuum, which isn't always in here, but you can actually just vacuum this turf up when it gets little spots on it. That's super nice. And then this is a Christmas gift from my wife. It is kind of a golf bag stand. I think that's about $90. Really like that thing. Just sits in here, looks really clean. And then this just holds kind of the balls that we use. And it's just a dot bag that I got for my brother-in-law for his wedding. So it wasn't even meant for golf balls, but I think it looks clean. I think it looks nice. I like it. And then over here, we have this gymongous couch, which we got off Facebook Marketplace. How much was it, Brittany?
$6.50.
And love this thing. We kind of just put this in the corner here, even though it's not meant to go there, and it literally makes a bed. You could sleep 2 people in there easily. Super fun, ginormous couch. Might be a little bit big for the space, but it works out well. Now, another thing we have over here, we got our TV that we mounted to the wall. Love that. So what we can do is we can play golf on here, watch football on here, or vice versa. Works really, really well. Another extra we added in here was this vinyl flooring. So this is just right over the concrete. And we think this looks really nice, and we got this for $750 from Menards, and I think we actually used our rebate on it. So it didn't actually end up costing us anything because we had rebates from when we built the garage that we used it for, and I think this looks great. It takes it from feeling like a garage to now it just feels like a giant living room. Another fun thing we have out here, I have a camera set up for when I live stream, and I'll overlay a clip of that. One of my favorite things we did is to get internet out here. We had to run our Ethernet cable from the top of our house, over the house, under the concrete, and then it kind of just goes into the garage and loops down here. And so now we have really good internet just because we spent the time to dig the trench and move the Ethernet cable out here. Next up over here, this is our bar. Not everything's quite finished. We still need to paint the walls, still need to paint the bar. But this was, I think, was it $700 all in, Brittany?
Yeah.
$700 for us to build this bar. We think it looks great. It works as my workspace, and then also a bar for people to come here. And we like that. A lot of storage. Think it looks great, works great. Super, super happy with it. And then we got a mini fridge. This was also used with a rebate from Menards. This was $270 just for drinks and that kind of thing. Now, one of the other things that's in here that has been really awesome to have, I got a wireless mouse, and I'll link this on Amazon, and this is just really nice for when you're golfing. You got to kind of adjust where you're aiming, and every once in a while you just have to click buttons that is needed. So this wireless mouse works really great just to help control things, and I just put it right here so then it's easy to move instead of having to walk back and have your back to the screen. Works really well to have a wireless mouse right there, and I think that was like $50. Now, one of my favorite things that my wife got me as a birthday present last year was like this neon Golf Busters sign, and love this thing. Just hooked this up actually, and that just goes right on the wall. So a little fun extra that I think, you know, when people walk in, it's like, oh, that's really cool, just to kind of just add that little touch that kind of helps bring the room together. I have a sound bar that was like 40, 50 bucks from Best Buy. The guy was trying to tell me that it wouldn't be loud enough, but it works just fine. And then I have a Roku up there that also connects. So I'll show you that really quick. You just boot it up, and this projector, guys, for 1,300 bucks is incredible. People always comment on the quality and the colors, and I'll go put on like a House of the Dragon episode so you guys can see like just how good the quality looks. So again, the colors get a little bit thrown off when you're watching it through a camera, but this is the quality of projector you get and what it looks like on this golf impact screen. So pitch to your wife, you know, not only is it a golf simulator, it's a movie theater room. It's multi-purpose. You can do so many things in it. So one of the last things I want to show you, and my wife will kill me if I don't show this to you, this garage door right here actually opens up to the patio. So in the summers, and you can ignore kind of all those pillows, it's super cool because you can put this all the way up, and all the girls can be hanging on the patio. It doesn't look great right now, just kind of because of the season we're in, but all the girls can be hanging on the patio. All the boys can be in here playing some golf. Hey everyone, so before we end the video, we just wanted to give you the cost of all the extras for the simulator, and then also wanted to break down the cost of the entire garage itself, including all the simulator stuff too. So this document is just like a transparency report of everything with links, and I'll include that in the description below. But all the extras added on for us brought it to about 10 grand flat. And then there were some extras we already had, like we said, the PC, which is $1,000, and the TV. And so if you just wanted to buy every single thing we had in this space, it came out to about $11,500. And then the cost of the entire project for us, start to finish, was $67,000. And like we said, we had done a ton of work in here ourselves. So that number is probably lower than it would be if you hired people out to do the majority of the thing. Now, the last thing I want to do is just give a quick shout out to the guys who built the kind of entirety of the structure of the garage. That was Potter Building Group, and they are awesome. So they were amazing. If you are in West Michigan and looking for some construction people, they are the go-to guys. So that's it for us this week. Let us know if you have any questions. Be sure to subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff, and we'll see you next week.